What's going on, guys? I'm Tyler, and in continuing my series of Disney movie reviews, I'm here to let you know that Melody Time is No Perfect Movie, and it's a series of 7 short films set to folk songs and popular music of the 1940s. Wow, these descriptions just get easier as time goes by. Now, I'm not going to be able to talk about every single short in depth because there are some that are a lot shorter and longer than others, and they each have very different stylistic traits in terms of what goes into the story, how the story plays out, how it's even introduced, because some of these shorts go for the Fantasia route of just having an introduction, and then the whole short playing just through the music, no talking whatsoever. Some of these shorts have an Ichabod and Mr. Toad sort of way where the characters don't talk, but there is music and a narrator accompanying it. There's even the very last short, this cowboy-themed one, has Roy Rogers and his company being introduced in a live-action introduction with a complete cowboy song. And it was corny and cheesy, but that was exactly what you would expect from Roy Rogers and company. So there are a lot of different things that I could talk about, but I would just be sitting here for the end of the day, and I probably wouldn't even be done with half of it. What I will say is, because each of these shorts were different from the other, it kept me on my toes, it felt unpredictable, and it was a change of pace from shorts like Fantasia or Three Caballeros, where you kind of have a sense of what's going to happen in each short. I'm not saying those ones are worse than this one. What I'm saying is this one just feels a little more unexpected in a lot of good ways. So in order to keep this short and to focus on the pros and cons of the movie itself, I'm going to talk about my 3 favorites first. The first one being Bumble Boogie, which is a swing version of Flight of the Bumblebee. And the story centering around this bee who is trying to survive when the music is turning everything around him alive and starts attacking him. That was the first short that I really clicked to. The Freddie Martin Orchestra did a really good job at adding a lot of fast-paced energy to an already really good song. The surreal visuals are so well-timed to make the slapstick funny, and I gotta say, I loved how the music was in sync with the action all the time. It reminded me a lot of Baby Driver, where even the shortest and sweetest things had some kind of musical accompaniment. Blame It on the Samba revolves around Donald and his friend Jose being introduced to the samba by a bird named Ari, and that's really the gist of the story, aside from this organist played by Ethel Smith, who also does a really good job despite not really saying anything, just playing the organ. Adds a lot of surprising Roger Rabbit type elements where you really do feel like Donald and Jose are physically interacting with her. The composition putting her in the animation together felt completely seamless. And the fact that we see Donald Duck fall on his ass so many times, and then to see a short like this where it's just him having fun nonstop without any incidents, that alone was enough to make this short so fun to watch. But thankfully, the samba music is really well done. The choreography and how Donald and Jose have this really weird slapstick, kind of like Flight of the Bumblebee with the musical notes and how they're bouncing off of them. That was also really fun to watch. I had a smile on my face throughout both of these shorts just because it was such a simple but funny story to watch. But the short that everyone remembers the most, of course, is The Legend of Johnny Appleseed, a man who is much more famous for his name as opposed to what he did, which was travel across the US, plant apple trees everywhere, and do so in a gentle and compassionate way, in a very Christian way too, because the movie makes it clear that he was a missionary and it was his goal to, like, bring people together. And that was what made him such a likable character. He doesn't have a 3-act structure where he learns how to be a good person. He's the role model character who doesn't change, but he changes other people around him. And honestly, that was enough to make it worth watching. At like 17 minutes, it went on for a little too long in certain parts, but outside of that, I felt like it had some of the best animation, it had some of the brightest colors, it had one of the best songs with Appleseed's intro about how the Lord is good to him, which was catchy and made me want to whistle to it. I'm not religious or anything, but when religious music is good, it's really good. So as you can tell by how I felt about those 3 shorts, the best part of this movie in general are just how fluid and fast the animation is when it needs to be, combined with some really catchy and diverse amounts of music. You have jazz, you have folk, you have samba music, and the fact that each short has its own style in terms of music and story structure makes each one feel fresh, and it makes it unpredictable on what short you're going to see next. And as you can tell by how these shorts are about, it's the simplicity that makes us really enjoy the movie. We're not there to see characters be super fleshed out over the course of time. We just want to enjoy ourselves by something that's simple and nothing really groundbreaking, but it doesn't need to be. Now, there are two things about this movie that did get on my nerves. Actually, you know what? The more I think about it, there are three things that I realize just now thinking about it. One is that the movie, whenever it's spoken by actors, is constantly spoken in rhyme, and, you know, at first I didn't realize it, but when it got to The Legend of Appleseed, it kind of did get a little annoying after a while, and then once the movie kept going, I just kind of got used to it and rolled with it, but I didn't think it was necessary. The second is one that it was unavoidable to begin with, was the pacing, because as you watch each short and you decide which ones you like more than others, everyone's going to disagree on which ones should have been shuffled around. Me personally, I would have put Johnny Appleseed at the very end, but that's just me. The other one, and I feel like this is one that people are going to point out the most, was this movie is really inconsistent when it comes to gender roles, especially during the first and the last short, because they both put male and female characters in a situation where they're both, at first, completely capable equally. And it was nice for a while. But then the story kind of forces it to be a situation where it's a damsel in distress, and the man has to rescue her. And a part of me wonders if they did that on purpose as, like, a cautionary tale to, like, treat women right, they deserve it, because without any spoilers, the last short, the one about Roy Rogers and Pecos Bill, however I said it, I apologize. Without spoiling anything, it doesn't really end on a happy note. And it's clear that there was supposed to be a message to both of them, but if it's supposed to end in a cautionary way, I'm not sure what it is to be cautioned of other than treat women right. And I didn't think that it ended in a way where that was the message they were trying to say. It felt like some of it was just being played up for laughs as opposed to us having to learn something. It really shouldn't be a surprise that a movie from 1948 is outdated in terms of tastes of music and perspectives on people, and that will probably test a lot of modern audiences, but anyone who loves watching old-fashioned Disney movies, they should probably have a good time with this one, because it still has plenty of old-fashioned Disney charm. The animation is fantastic. The music, depending on your tastes, personally, I'd enjoyed it, and I think everyone should give it a try either way. And for all those reasons, I'm going to give Melody Time a 3.5 out of 5. Guys, thanks as always for watching. If you have seen Melody Time, let me know in the comments below what you thought of it. Be sure to stay tuned for more Disney reviews, and be sure to like and subscribe. Take care.